In this video, a puddle, a truck gets lost, and some hooligans. Man, I can't even start the video without already failing. I was walking over to the 13th Street crossover, and before I got in position, an empty Colt came flying by when I wasn't ready. And to add insult to injury, the highway signs are perfectly placed to cover it up. Anyways, hi. I'm out today because Amtrak 108 is on the Pennsylvanian service and I wanted to catch it. Well, which granted, because that's the very next thing I saw. I moved down to 9th Ave because while 43 was stopped at the station, I wouldn't have been able to see it well from the flyover. For this shot, I actually stood on top of this guardrail with this sign between my legs for a little more elevation and to get over some overgrown weeds. I definitely wasn't one sneeze away from falling on my ass for the entirety of this shot. After quite a long wait, as you can see by the change in lighting, I had an intermodal coming my way. And as I panned around for this one, I noticed that there was another green signal on the track next to it. So with a little luck, I might get a race between the two. And which granted again, because the other intermodal rounded the corner and raced the first intermodal at almost exactly the same speed. I would have loved to follow these two trains to see how far they went side by side, because they had to have separated eventually. My next outing would start with me watching someone's car get towed out of my lot. They had been parked in an illegal space for about a week or two. Anyway, I was going out to see 4822 on 11N, the daily automotive run, but right as I arrived there I found NS 594 with 4002 just sitting short of the crossing. On heritage units, the last 4002 report was 4 hours ago at the curve, so I assumed that it was long gone, but nope, I guess it needed to stop here for whatever reason. Well, it wouldn't have much time to react because very shortly after I heard horns coming from behind 4002 and a different loaded coal came and passed it. This is literally the Brian Regan joke of the log trucks. It's the same coal, why does one have priority over the other?
You'd think a phone call would save a whole lot of trouble.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a piece of ballast? Well, now you can! Using a revolutionary technology, we've recreated what life is like for a little piece of ballast holding up your railroad. To experience this for yourself, go put your camera on the ground, dummy, it's not that hard. The next train to disturb my slumber was a manifest led by a single C6M with another C6M in the middle. Once both of these trains passed, 594 started up and pulled past us. And as it was passing us, the sun reflected off of 4002 in a very beautiful way. Also, I used that revolutionary technology to capture the mids. And now, a moment with a trackside bush. This has been a moment with a trackside bush. From the Tyrone cam, we had seen this manifest go by the cam before Amtrak 43, and 43 pulled in a little bit after. Since 43 would be faster than this guy, I was wishing for a race. Also happening in this moment, an elderly couple parked on the side of the tracks to come see the Amtrak. Just keep that in mind. Well, shortly after I heard the sweet sound of a P42 rounding the corner, and 43 stormed past the manifest on track
3.
And unfortunately, our elderly friends on the other side of the manifest sadly did not get to see 43 pass them like they were hoping, which truly just absolutely shatters my heart. I feel so bad for them. And double unfortunately, our friends left in a huff and puff before 4822 came rounding the bend. Here's the clip. Also, before I go on to my next day trip, I usually cut out the footage of the DPUs or helper sets because most of the time they're not that interesting or relevant to the story of the video, but the clip that I took of the DPUs is crazy good in my opinion. Honestly, I wish I recorded 4822 from this angle. My next trip out would take me to Bellwood for the first time, and the first thing I found was C42 returning home from Lewistown. Next up was an intermodal with an ACC trailing. I love to see these. After this quick intermodal, this intermodal met with that intermodal very far down the tracks. And by the way, all 2.5 of the last couple trains were intermodals led by a C6M pair. And I'm not saying that the trains can be very repetitive, but I love seeing ACCs out on the main line because they're at least a little different than what you normally see.
And by that I mean C6Ms.
So it was nice to see this ACC leading this manifest. The next train of the day would be 26X sporting a C6M and an Ace. Now, I'ma pause it right here. Would you believe me if I said that this was the best shot of the day? Well, watch what happens when I pan the camera around. Yep, ya boy got another perfect meet here in Bellwood with 26X and Amtrak 43. What a shot, let's see that on rewind. So as you can see, 26X enters the frame first as there is less tree cover in that area. At this moment, SAS Railfan knows 43 is coming in from behind him, and he needs to make a split-second decision if he's going to shoot off to the left or right side of the bridge for this perfect meet. And as you can see in this moment, he makes the decision to jump to the left and zoom out quickly, which ended up being the perfect play, because Amtrak 43 is going to enter the frame right about here, right after SAS Railfan gets the shot steady, and at this point he's perfectly set up to catch the meet, which he intercepts in this area. What a play by SAS Railfan. Back to you in the studio, SAS. Hot off the heels of one of my favorite recent shots, this manifest came trundling by with some tractors in the middle. I moved back down to the landing to catch 11N roll by, except this time it didn't have 4822. Womp womp. Alright, I'm bored of intermodals. Let's watch 21W in 50 times speed. Alright, did you catch that? It was a great train, right? I got yet another meet way down the line as 21W met with 18N.
This is totally not text-to-speech, and I definitely didn't forget to write 18N into the script. My voice is different because I just got really sick. Anyway, this is the clip of 18N.
And the last train of the day would be yet another intermodal with an ACC trailing and facing me this time. Man, I am spoiled for ACCs today. Okay, now time to appease the 8-year-old foamers watching today that only care about heritage units. Sitting at the turntable today on the right was 1068, the Erie Heritage Unit, 1072, the Illinois Terminal, coupled to
4005,
one of the DC-to-AC Horseheads, and over in the distance was a high hood waiting to get its nose chopped off. 2 days later, I was back at Bellwood because the weather was finally starting to warm up and I just wanted to be outside. In the middle of this manifest were a good number of gondolas with rail ties in them separated by the mid-DPU. Next up, I was completely jump scared by a low-ram high-rail truck as I was walking back to my car for some water. Apparently, the truck had gotten onto the track in Tyrone and scooted all the way down to here. It took me so many tries to get that line right in voiceover. Next up was a dummy-thick intermodal. Wait, what? Yep, if you look in this region between the wings of the engines, you'll notice that the engines start bouncing all over the place once they get closer to me. The next train solidified Bellwood as my ACC good luck charm because the next train had yet another ACC. Let's play What's It Carrying? Contestant number 1, what do you think the next train will be carrying?
Hi, I'm C65240, and I think the next train will be carrying intermodal.
Alright, and now on to contestant number 2, what do you think the next train will be carrying?
Hello, I'm Trackside Train Fan. I think it will be carrying mixed freight.
We'll see if that's right. Now on to our last contestant, contestant number 3, what do you think the next train will be carrying?
Hi, I'm Numb Lover Central Railfan, and I think the next train will be an intermodal train.
Alright, contestants, let's see who's gonna be correct. The correct answer is intermodal. Congratulations to contestants 1 and 3, you guys are correct. Thank you for playing What's It Carrying? By the way, go check out all these guys' channels. After another intermodal, the little cute low ram truck came back. The cute little low ram truck came back past, and I tried to fit. The cute little low ram truck came by. Nope. The cute little low ram truck came back past, facing the other way, and I tried and failed to film the stuff under the truck. After this, I knew that there was an intermodal coming, but the next headlights I saw coming around the corner weren't the headlights of a front-facing engine. I quickly noticed that this was a long hood forward train. But what, you may be asking, would be long hood forward on the main line? Let's play! Nah, I'm not doing that again. It was a maintenance of way / rail train heading out eastbound. This is actually the first rail train I've seen in my life. This was completely unexpected and such a wonderful treat. Stuff like this is why I titled this video Railfanning for Cultured Railfans. All of these catches, like the rail train, the abundance of ACCs, the locals, the perfect meet, the tractors, and the low ram truck, are all things that aren't on heritage units or any type of special paint or anything. They're just uncommon things to see. This kind of stuff is what makes me truly enjoy this hobby. It isn't all about catching heritage units or any other special paint job. I find genuine enjoyment out of unique catches like these, sometimes even more than heritage units. I'm just saying to enjoy the little things and don't focus on paint. Tell you what wasn't an uncommon surprise though, a C6M intermodal, followed by another C6M intermodal. Not all is lost though, because C42 would be the next installation on this awesome day. After C42 cleared, I needed to go to the bathroom. Shocking, I know. So I looked around in the park next to the pedestrian bridge and found no open bathrooms. I did find this goofy water fountain though, so I decided to piss under the bridge, and of course while I was peeing I heard the sound of an approaching train. So that explains why on this shot I'm down by the tracks instead of up on the bridge. Once again, this train had some John Deere tractors in the middle, which I filmed going by the thingies. Do you guys remember the perfect meet I got here a week earlier? Well, as luck would have it, lightning does strike twice, and as 43 was coming towards me, nothing else passed. I wasn't building up to anything. Also, I just felt like mentioning a fun lightning fact. 3 days, 18 hours, 23 minutes, and 9 seconds later, I was at Lower Riggles Gap Road to catch 8101, the Central of Georgia Heritage Unit. Just after I arrived, 65K came to treat me with the CSX Gevo trailing. 8101 today was on 591, an empty coal job from Baltimore to Shire Oaks, Pennsylvania. After one of its eastbound compatriots, 8101 finally arrived. I started recording early because there was an ATV that was racing 8101. It came around the side of the train and zoomed past it. If you go to Lower Riggles Gap Road, you'll see a lot of people zooming around on dirt bikes or ATVs. I guess it's a popular spot for that. Also, be warned that these guys use that trail next to the track all the time, which is trespassing. Please do not do this. Anyway, here's the 8101 clip. Gotta appease those 8-year-old foamers. Next up was another intermodal with another ACC leader. Very nice, very nice. Next up, I felt like doing something at least semi-interesting with the next shot of another nondescript intermodal, so I stood directly on top of it. Thankfully, it wasn't as bad as those helpers in Cassandra. Never forget. Next up, 6K4 had a little treat for me in the form of a CN SD70M-2 trailing behind a look-alike Ace. Also, the buffer car in the front looked suspiciously like one I saw at the Bridgeview Bed and Breakfast back in 2022. And the last day I'll include in this extra long video is another quick trip to Riggles. I was out to end the video the same way it started with Amtrak 108. Amtrak 108 was on 43 again today, so I went out in the warm weather to catch it. Well, this intermodal hadn't cleared before I saw that lovely red nose, so 108 ended up chasing this intermodal towards Riggles. Here's the clip. After another intermodal, I got another cultured railfan treat. 65T today was led by a white-faced Dash 9 trailed by a Gevo. After watching some ACUs smoke off in the distance, a man walked up to me and began a conversation. He told me that he was there to take a video of a train for a music video he was making. I told him I'd give him a little shout out on my channel, so here it is. If you like Americana music, a genre I learned of that day, please go check out Ken Warner on YouTube and his other socials. He's been making music for 16 years now and puts a lot of love into what he does. Go check him out. Anyway, I'm gonna terminate this video here. Now if you'll excuse me, I really want to go get a milkshake. Thank you for watching, have a happy day.